funnily enough, with me, it wasn't the Kraftwerk route with me at all. Although, interestingly enough, Robbie and I went to see Kraftwerk during this album, and we definitely got in the studio the next day, and there was definitely an influence because we enjoyed the gig so much. It was just, I mean, I laughed all the way through. I mean, we wouldn't expect to laugh at a synth gig, would you? But it was so humorous what they did, and also beautifully, the sound was beautiful. I mean, completely synthetic and just, I really didn't. I actually got it. I understood why people liked them so much. And anyway, halfway through the album, we had a burst of Kraftwerk, and it was great. But actually, you know, when I was 14, I saw Emerson, Lake and Palmer the first time that Emerson ever used the Moog modular on stage. I mean, and I saw literally the first gig that he did was at the Isle of Wight in 1970. And it just like blew me away. I thought, this is incredible. I've never heard anything like this. You know, I couldn't possibly have got one of those instruments. There was only a few of them in the world. But it left a lasting impression. I mean, there's two things about Emerson. One was he embraced the synthesizer, and then secondly, because when on stage he was so exciting as a keyboard player. He didn't just stand there, he wrestled and stuck knives in his instruments and made the whole idea of keyboard playing sexy. I mean, nobody else had ever done that, in my opinion. And I took him as my prime inspiration. He knows that because I've met him a couple of times and I've told him. You know, it's a debt of gratitude. When I decided I was going to reproduce the original rig, I had the Prodigy. I had one Prodigy that was working that needed repairing, so I sent that off to be repaired. I had the Juno 60, and that just always worked. That was a completely original. But the 808, the Pro 1, and another Prodigy I had to rebuy.
You had the Jupiter 8 as well.
Oh yeah, the Jupiter 8. But I got the Pro 1 from Richard Lawson, and it was like brand new. I mean, it was like showroom condition. It was like just straight out of the box. It was the most beautiful object, wasn't it?
But the weird thing was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Your original Pro 1, you sent it for repairs years ago and didn't know where it was. And then about 2 months after the gig...
It was the Prodigy. It was the Prodigy.
The Prodigy, yeah. The Prodigy.
That's right.
It turned up, didn't it?
That's right. I'd sent this synth off, the Prodigy off to be fixed, and it never came back. And the company seemed to go out of business. And then somebody who was having a look at my Hammond C3 to fix that said, "Oh, I think I've got something that belongs to you." And he turned up with the Prodigy, and it was the original one.
Right, so I wanted to take you back to the pre-Humans Lib era, and this is how I started off with the songs. And I thought it might be interesting for you to see me try and wrestle with this lovely old gear again. And I tell you, it's been a lot of fun doing this. That's right. That's the other thing I used to have to speak between the songs because I had to program all this stuff like this. No computers. And that's where, everything used to go wrong in the old days, and it actually might tonight as well. So. There we go. We love you! Oh, thank you very much. I love you too. Okay. Almost ready.
One of the things I was keen to recreate in the 20th anniversary DVD to show people how it was done, because there's a lot of people in the audience who'd never seen it, and I wanted to show. I was surprised how much I enjoyed doing that, actually, and also how difficult it was. And I used to get slagged off by music magazines who didn't understand what I was doing, saying that, you know, I could just send my gear to the show and I didn't have to turn up, you know, and somebody'd press the button. But it was completely the opposite. I mean, I was wrestling with these instruments to try and, you know, try to get it to... I mean, the Pro 1 sequencer, you know what it's like. You have to program the last note in first. You can't do it in the order. So I always had to, like, transpose the the thing in my head, you know. And then I used to, you know, play tapes in between to do all the programming, manual programming on the Juno 6, because, you know, there was no memories in it. So everything had to be done by hand. And it reminded me all how bloody difficult it was.
Yeah, I remember the first time you set it all up for rehearsals and got it all up and running, and it was like, oh no, like everything was just like out of tune within half a number.
Yeah. I mean, that's right. I mean, the great thing was this time was that we had it all going through the mixer, and Robbie was able to put great, you know, fantastic delays and compression on it when we did that. So that's something I never had. In the old days, it would go raw through the desk, and it would be, you know, the sound just, and the bass drums used to, you know, those 808 bass drums used to, you know, destroy the room and the gear. But now we could control it a bit more.